Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Matt and this is the 6th episode of my Creating Link Shortener tutorial. In this episode, we are finally going to persist our links in the database. So hit the like button, subscribe and enjoy. Now we can prepare our connection. We'll create a helper which will help us to connect into our database. So this is called, we need to create an asynchronous function which will be called connect to DB, no database. And this function will basically return the singleton. So let's call cached DB helper, the variable. And if this variable isn't assigned, we are going to create the new database connection. Otherwise, we use the same. So we don't need to create multiple connections, right? So let's implement this. So if cached DB is created, we return cached DB. We can copy this this line. For now, let's mock URI. Now we are going to assign our client to cached DB, and we are going to return client.connect. And the await symbol says that we are going to wait until we connect to our database, and then we'll continue the execution of the program. So now we actually need to hook this function here. So I call it DB await connect to database. And our IDE is complaining. Oh, because we need to use a synchronous method to actually do those sort of things. And now, if user passes the link, we'll create a new entry in our database. So we type await. So we wait until we create the entry in database. We'll need to select the the DB. So database, let's rename it later on. We need to store our data in some collection which we call links collection. Let's rename our database to links DB, links database, and we are going to insert one, and we are going to insert link which is request body link. Here we are going to return the entry inserted ID. Let's save. Let's test it. So if we don't pass the link, oh, our database crashed. So let's see what happened. Oh, I forgot to close the bracket. Sorry. Let's save. Let's go back to our Postman. Internal server, let's see what happened. And our connection string is not valid, which is expected because we simply mock it. So now we need to do something with our connection link. And it contains the username and password. So it's not very secure to actually store it in the code. So what we can do is to create .env file copy it here. Let's move it into main directory. And now we need to restart our server. As you can see, our server detected that there is the .env file. So it actually read its values. So we can actually start to define it. So in our .env file, we're going to define some variables. The first variable will be MongoDB URI. And we are going to use the empty string for now. Let's save it. And we are going to create yet another .env file called .env.local, which is our local file. So basically this file will never be committed into Git repository. And we'll copy the same content here, but now we are also going to copy this URL, our URL connector, and copy it actually here. And now we need to define our username and password, but this will never be committed. It will be only persistent on our computer, so it won't be deployed to the server, which is what we want. So let's do it. Copy my password. And as I remember, how we called our database? Linksdb. We can also parameterize this, but let's do it later. Let's paste our database name. And now we need to restart our server. So we no longer need this. Let's save. So now let's verify, does it work? So let's send an empty request. And now it seems like it works. But it still complains that we pass invalid connection string. Let's go back to the code. Oh, I forgot to use it. Let's hook it. So now, instead of URI, we're going to use process.env.mongodb_URI. And unfortunately, now we need to restart our server. So now let's try to pass the link. Let's send it with the wrong link. And we actually created something in our database. So actually it works. Our API actually can create links right now. Let's see how it looks like in our database. So let's see collections. Links collection. It didn't really work, so probably we need to change the method of creating it. This one also didn't work. Let's for a moment change this thing. Let's try to create it now. Okay, we have a link created. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Now it actually worked. So we just used the wrong method here. And we need to change it to don't verify the length. So this will fix later on. We have it working, so we can actually easily use it. So let's remove this connection string because it's no longer needed. And here we need to also pass the URL. So we're going to use the following URL to redirect our users. For now, let's keep it hard-coded. Later on, we'll change it. So now when we already define it like this, we can actually test it with the postman, and let's see how it works. So now our API is returning this short link. And that's it for today. In the next episode, we are going to work on the redirection. So if you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episodes.